All right, we're back out here at the test facility closest to our workshop. We have a base model developer with us, has an upgraded RTK GPS. I have our Legion Go with the MLRS radio and QGroundControl in front of us right now. Today, we have some updates to our development version of the iVue RC app, which we should be pushing to production here fairly soon if everything looks like it works out well today. So most of these are quality of life improvement updates, but we'll go through each of those in just a moment. First, let's go ahead and boot up this developer and just verify it looks good in QGroundControl, and then we'll go ahead and connect in this development version of the iVue RC app. Already have props on. Definitely didn't leave those on from last time. All right, got stabilized flight mode already, according to QGroundControl. Not yet ready to take off, no satellites, no GPS lock. Definitely not cheating, pulling up some of the updates that we have here from Mohit. Compass is inconsistent, might have to do a compass calibration. Which again, I think we're having issues with this GPS unit. Might have to swap it out or do some troubleshooting. Go ahead, swap over to loiter flight mode. I thought QGroundControl was just going to crash on us. We had a little bit of an audible hiccup. Sensors, compass. Let's see.
Compass is inconsistent.
So we are pointing north. I'm going to try the large vehicle calibration, and we've done that before and didn't necessarily have the greatest success with it, but I don't recall if that was with an RTK GPS, and usually a RTK GPS will help overcome these sorts of issues, but I don't necessarily recommend anyone at home do this. All right, successfully completed. And now we're getting ready to fly. Going to do a reboot here before we actually fly and make sure we're still getting ready to fly. All right, and vehicle configuration, parameters, tools, reboot. I'm so used to QGroundControl crashing when I'm using it on this Mac computer.
Stabilize flight mode.
All right. Going back into loiter flight mode. Pardon the sniffles.
Prayer. Need position estimate.
All right. So closing out of QGroundControl, we're now using version 1.5.4 of World's iVue, and therefore the corresponding version of the iVue RoboControl app released yesterday. There was actually some updates. A majority of these updates were done on the 17th, but Mohit, being the overachiever he is, don't tell him I said that, he went ahead and pushed a couple more updates last night. So we'll go full screen, add a drone, connect to drone, select the only option available from the drop down in our case. And now we have the representation of develop air facing in the direction it's actually facing, at least mostly. It looks like it might be a little bit off. But let's go ahead. I'm just pressing A to activate the controller. And the first thing that we want to test out is actually how well that orientation matches up. It looks like it's still a little bit off, but we'll go ahead and arm drone and then take off. All right. So develop air is facing pretty much this loose Saab Kia building directly, and that's not great. All right, I'm gonna put in land flight mode. So there is definitely some compass calibration issue. And by compass calibration issue, I mean a hardware issue with this GPS. So let's go ahead and close out the iVue RC app before we do any more testing with it. Let's see if we can get at least a halfway decent compass calibration with the current unit installed.
Land flight mode. GCS failsafe cleared.
Sensors, compass. Let's see. I'm gonna take my wallet out. Take my smartwatch off. Hopefully the microphone doesn't mess with the calibration too much. Probably not gonna get a great calibration anyways. Again, seeing as I think we actually have a hardware issue. Now, given we also did have the battery installed upside down, or upside down compared to the way that I typically install it, which is installed this way currently, where the sticker is facing up. And when I took the battery that was just previously in it when we got out here today, the battery was facing downward. All right, heard the beeping to say the calibration is complete. Dun, 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 dun. Wow, look at that, both in the yellow. We're gonna take that, rewind it back. I used to know all the words to that song too, back in 8th grade.
Stabilize flight mode.
Take that, rewind it back. Something ludicrous. Make your booty go. All right, back over to the iVue RC app. And the next update that we want to test out, where it looks like the orientation is by and large good here, maybe like 10 degrees off Mohit, and 10 degrees to the right. So if, you know, facing the Lu Saab Kia head on was north 0 degrees. It looks like develop air is, on screen 10 degrees to the right, roughly speaking, and it's not actually 10 degrees to the right in reality. Let's see, the next update is uploading missions. So this should be a little bit more intuitive. And now you actually have a message that says click on the map to start adding waypoints versus you might have been left guessing. Well, let's not actually create the waypoint way out there. It looks like there is a little UI bug. There should be a line connecting develop air to that first waypoint. Actually, I say that, but the reason why that's not showing is because we don't have the waypoint mission set to drone 1. So not actually a UI bug, just a user error. Now, one of the other updates that we have is changing your heading. You might have seen that in a previous version we've shown off here, but let's say at this waypoint 1, we actually don't want develop air to face the direction it's flying. We can actually change the direction not just by typing in a degree angle for it to face, so like 90 degrees being east, 180 degrees being south, 270 degrees being west. We can actually choose a heading on the map, and then if you hold down on the screen, I don't know how, okay. So on touchscreen devices, this may not work super well. I'm using the touchpad on this Legion Go, but you can actually just using this arrow to indicate which direction you want develop air to face, set the heading this way. So we'll go ahead and set the custom heading to 186 degrees. We'll set the altitude to 25 feet. And waypoint 2 we'll set to 35 feet. And at waypoint 2 we'll have it face backwards. So choose heading on map. Clicked a little too quickly for the arrow to pop up, but you can see down here that it did swap the heading. So it should turn around almost 360 degrees. Nothing else has changed here, but if we go to options, we go to upload mission to drone, you can see we actually get an indication there with a check mark that the mission has been uploaded. So you don't have to be as reliant on this terminal window as we have previously. So you can see though, mission upload is complete. And let me see if there's any other updates to the waypoint missions I should cover. I don't think so. The sun and the hair in my eyes. I would get a haircut, but it's cold out for the next couple months, so I get my haircut anytime my backpack straps, latch onto it. I just push more changes to the iVue RC app. Users can now waypoints. All right, so I think that's actually going to be it. So if this works correctly, I think we will be able to push these updates to production. Of course, you at your own risk, per se, can use the development version of the iVue RC app we're showing off here, but let's go ahead and go back to the drone menu, start waypoint, arm drone, start waypoint mission. All right, and it's changing its heading as we set on its way to the first waypoint, and then on its way to the second waypoint, it rotates back to 300 degrees. All right, well, simple as that. Let's go ahead and take control in loiter flight mode. And seemed to be climbing in altitude more than what I was giving it, but same thing again there. I think the wind's just pulling it up. Got low energy Jacob today. Closer. All right, that's good. All right, so there you have it. Updates to the iVue RC app. Still have some work to do to figure out why this GPS isn't performing as well as it should. I think the compass calibration that we saw today should resolve most of those issues. Still not the greatest compass calibration, but more than enough to complete the test line we needed to do. Be on the lookout for those updates we just showed off in the production version of World's iVue and the iVue RC app, and we'll have more along with those coming here soon. So stay tuned, and you'll catch us in the next one. Peace.